Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark and Pam. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 4 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com. And remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
And we have the pleasure of being joined in studio today by Mark Vaillancourt of Mark's Magic. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. What a great way to start the week, Pam.
Yeah.
We're going to get some magic tricks in here today. It's pretty cool. We had the pleasure of having Mark perform for us at the 30th anniversary for Uncle Andy's Digest not too long ago.
It was an absolute blast.
Oh, so glad you came.
It was super fun, and everybody was so engaging, and everybody had a good time.
And Mark's the type of magician who it's close-up magic. He comes to your table.
Yeah.
Or, as was the case at the Hilton, he started at a table and then everybody came to him.
That's true.
What's going on over here?
I started out with 4 people, and I look up, why is there 18 people around me?
Yeah. It was just awesome. And we can't wait to dig a little deeper into Mark's magic career, which started in the late 2000s.
Oh, actually, early 2000.
Early 2000s, okay. Before we get to all that, let's take a look at some headlines for Monday, June 1st.
Under a deal with the state of Maine, Central Maine Medical Center in Lewiston must restore its trauma center by 2028. Following years of financial losses, CMMC let its trauma center status lapse in December of last year. Maine currently has 2 trauma centers, Maine Medical Center in Portland and Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor. The state is concerned about the reduction of advanced emergency care options in the middle of the state.
The Auburn City Council will hold a workshop and meeting this evening from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Residents are invited to attend or watch the live stream on the city's YouTube channel. The full agenda can be found at auburnmaine.gov. The
Lewiston Public Library is hosting Maker Monday from 4 to 6:30 p.m. on the 1st and 3rd Mondays of June, July, and August. The monthly crafter meetup gives adults a space to connect and create together, foster community, and learn from each other without barriers. All skill levels are welcome. For more information, visit lplonline.org.
And the City of Lewiston announced Beyond the Badge, a free community building event taking place on July 23rd at Samard Payne Memorial Park. The event is hosted by the city's first responders and is designed to strengthen relationships, build trust, and create meaningful connections. There will be live music, an obstacle course, touch a truck, live demonstrations, and much more. For more information, visit the city's Facebook page. Now it's time for the weather.
Rain or shine, it's all okay. Grab your uke and start the day. You don't need perfect skies above. Hey, just a song and a little love.
Mostly sunny today with a high of 64 and a low of 46. A sunny start tomorrow before late morning clouds roll in with a high of 71 and a low of 45. It'll be sunny on Wednesday with highs in the mid-70s. More June-like.
Yes, and a lot better than what last week's forecast was predicting.
Yes,
for this
100%.
week. Yeah, no doubt. In sports, Wilyer Abreu, Masataka Yoshida, and Caleb Durbin each drove in 2 runs to lead the Red Sox over the Cleveland Guardians 9-4.
What?
Yeah, the Sox won a game. Can you believe it? It happens like once a week.
I didn't see it, so partially believe it.
The Sox are off today and will host the Baltimore Orioles tomorrow night.
The Maine Mayhem women's football team beat the Buffalo Blizzard 48-8. The Mayhem won 3 straight and are in second place in the National Conference North region. They'll visit the Philly Phantoms on Saturday night.
That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it's time for the podcast segment that is sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for June the 1st, shall we?
Yeah, we got some big hitters today.
We do. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a few A-listers in there. Comedian Amy Schumer, 45 years old today. Started her career in stand-up, and she was on Last Comic Standing back in the early 2000s. And
As a
then-
contestant?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
she was a contestant. And then she had her own TV show on Comedy Central called Inside Amy Schumer. And then she went on to star in movies like Trainwreck and the one she did. What was the one she did with Goldie Hawn? I think it was Snatched.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep.
I didn't see it, but it sounds right.
Alanis Morissette, 52 years old today.
Yeah.
Any relation to Kevin?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. He always says it's his cousin, but it's not. It's not. Maybe we need to do some genealogy and find out for sure.
Right? Yeah. Alanis is regarded as the queen of alt-rock angst. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it?
Yeah, she was angry, but in the 90s, but I loved it.
That album, her debut album, Jagged Little Pill, was just incredible. And it had the song You Ought to Know, which I think just launched her into
100%.
superstardom.
Yep.
A lot of ladies could relate to what she was singing about, I'm sure. Heidi Klum, 53 years old today. She appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue in 1998, and she was a Victoria's Secret model and also a judge for America's Got Talent. Rounding out FPBs for June the 1st is the man who people want to narrate their lives.
100%.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman is 89 years old today. Absolute legend. Shawshank Redemption, right? One of the best movies ever.
great.
Is that his breakout film?
Oh, yeah. No. It was one of his earlier ones. Well, actually, I just saw something the other day, one of his favorite ones to do, but it wasn't one of his breakout films.
Driving Miss Daisy.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that came out in 89. $1 Million Baby. He was in Seven with Brad Pitt,
Great movie.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And Kevin Spacey, I think, was in
Yes.
that as well,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Where'd he go?
Yeah. All right, let's move right along. Yeah, Morgan has done it all. I mean, he played God with that voice.
Yes,
of course.
he did.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of the name. It was with Jim Carrey and Jennifer Aniston.
Bruce Almighty.
Yes,
Yep.
that's the one.
Yep.
Is the one. Morgan Freeman, 89 years old today. Those are your FPBs. Now it's time for some OTDs. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. How about that singing, Mark? Come on.
Loving it. Loving it. Loving it.
Everyone loves that one.
Sure. Well, that's what they say.
We get some looks. 19 years ago, in 2007, Jack Kevorkian was released from prison after serving 8 years of his 25-year sentence. He died on June 3rd, 2011. He did not euthanize himself. He was 83.
Yeah, he was known as Dr. Death.
Yes.
He would help people end their lives
If they were critically ill.
with dignity.
Yeah.
Which is like a law now. Right? I think Kevorkian was ahead of his time.
21 years ago, in 2005, Jack White of the White Stripes married redheaded British supermodel Karen Elson in a canoe on the Amazon River. Really? Is that a true statement?
I would think so.
Meg
Sounds
White-
like something Jack White would
Yeah,
do.
that's true.
Yeah.
Meg White, Jack's ex-wife, was their maid of honor. Jack and Karen divorced in 2013. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Guess they ended amicably.
Yeah. Got to see the White Stripes in concert in Arizona. They are phenomenal.
I've seen White Stripes, yes. They were one of the bands, I think, the first year I went to Bourbon and Beyond.
Nice. They make a lot of music for just two people. It's crazy.
Yeah, they were great entertainers as well.
Yep.
42 years ago in 1984, Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, was released.
I've never seen a Star Trek movie or
Trekkie?
episode. Are you a Trekkie, Mark?
No, not really. But when they did a remake of Star Trek with, I think they reintroduced the characters like Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, I think his name is. When they did a movie with those characters, those guys did a great job. embodying the actual Captain Kirk and all that stuff. But yeah, I was never really a fan of the movies with the original Captain Kirk and that kind of thing. So
I remember William Shatner he was at a Star Trek convention, and he was just looking around at all the Trekkies and everyone dressed like him and talking like him. And he's up there. He's like, "People, just get a life.
Don't you have anything better to do?"
Please."
62 years ago, in 1964, the Rolling Stones arrived in New York to begin their first American tour. Their first show was at a high school stadium in Lynn, Massachusetts. They got bigger from there.
They did, and then they went on to play Gillette Stadium.
88 years ago, in 1938, Superman appeared in the first issue of Action Comics. In 2014, a copy sold for $3.2 million, which was the highest price ever paid for a comic book. 158 years ago, in 1868, James Buchanan, the 15th President of the United States, died in Pennsylvania at age 77. Buchanan was our only unmarried president.
Those
Therefore,
are
probably a lot less scandals than...
Yeah, Twitter didn't exist back then.
That's true, too.
As far as I know. Those are your FPBs and OTDs for June the 1st.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the L.A. area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Looking for a vehicle, but don't love the car shopping experience? At K&R Auto Sales on Center Street in Auburn, Frankie Campbell is known as your friend in the car business. That means no pressure, honest conversations, and helping you find the right vehicle for your budget and your life. Stop by K&R Auto Sales today and see how easy buying a car can feel when you've got a friend on your side. And now we shift focus fully to our guest in studio, Mark Vaillancourt of Mark's Magic. Let's start here, Mark. When did this all begin? When did you become fascinated with magic?
Well, I've been fascinated, pretty much all my life. Loved watching it, different types of magic, stage stuff. It was mostly the stuff that I could see on TV. It didn't really take off until high school when a friend of mine, his older sister was dating this gentleman who was a magician in Portland. So he would come over to the house often, and a bunch of us would be hanging out, and he'd be practicing his stuff, and it's all close-up stuff, and that's just fantastic to watch. So we became friends, and throughout the years, kind of hit or miss as far as getting to talk with each other. And then when I met my wife, she knew that I knew a couple of card tricks, loved magic and stuff like that, and I mentioned my friend Phil. Unbeknownst to me, she had actually spoken to her mom about this and hired Phil for our Jack and Jill shower when we got married. So I hadn't seen Phil in years, and so it was nice to see him, number one, at the shower and with all the rest of my friends. And I said, "Well, what are you doing here?" He goes, "Well," he says, "I was it's a dual purpose. One, I was invited. Two, I'm here to mess with you guys." And I was like, "Okay." And then he just started breaking out in magic. And I'm like, this is awesome. So after everything was said and done, he was about ready to leave. I said, "Phil, I need to sit down with you. This stuff is awesome. How do I get into it?" And he said, let's meet at a coffee shop somewhere and let's discuss, because there's so many angles to magic. There's stage stuff. There's escaping, and there's, close-up and all kinds of different things, and mind reading. And he said, "What do you really want to do?" And I had no idea until I told him, I said, "I like messing with cards." And he goes, "Well, that's a good start." And I ended up shopping online at different magic shops and kind of went the wrong route because, they always try to sell you something.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, now I've got like 19 decks of cards. And I told my friend, and Phil, he says, "How stupid are you going to look when you're walking around with your pockets full of like 19 decks of cards?" I'm like, "You know what? You're absolutely right." So I ended up learning how to do different tricks with just a regular plain old deck of cards and do that and just minimize my stuff and just walk around and pick my targets and have fun.
Pick my targets. Oh, boy.
I say that now, but I remember the first time I actually did a card trick in front of just my family. We were at Applebee's up the road, And I'd been practicing for a while, and I'm like, I got this down. So it was just before the meal got served, and I said, all right, I got a trick for you. So I broke out the card trick. I'm doing it. There's no patter to it. I'm just scared to death because, I'm kind of shy, and this was like helping me try to break out. And did the trick, and everybody was like, what the heck just happened? That was fantastic. I'm like, oh, thanks, because to me, it's fun for me. I'm not, I don't consider myself awesome at it, or I have no ego when it comes to that. I get the trick done. I go to gather up all the cards. 2 cards landed in the card box. Everything else landed on the floor because my hands were shaking so badly. Wow. It was just like, I can't believe I just pulled that off. Holy cow. So, and then just practicing after that. And then the other thing that helped was my wife. She is a theater major. She did music. She's a great singer. And she did a lot of stuff like that. And she was like, you know what? She goes, you know how some husbands will be like, they'll have like this little trick and yeah, save that for parties and stuff like that. They'll do that, but nowhere else, please. She goes, you have something there. I think you should just, really, really kick at it and keep going. I'm like, all right. So from then on, I just, just from learning different videos and going to different lectures and things like that when magicians do come around, I picked up bits and pieces, and I'm doing it every day. The only thing that was a little funky to get going at the start was I'm left-handed, so I had to learn a little bit differently, and I didn't realize how much of a difference it was until I actually started doing it. And I'm like, well, okay, so now I have to, really focus on if I really, really want to do the trick, then...
That's interesting. I never would have thought but that makes sense for sure. Yeah. I am very curious. What do you look for when you're choosing your target, when you want to do magic?
Well, a lot of times when I do, you have to read the room, whether it's a restaurant or a reception kind of a thing, or even at the 30th anniversary. You always want to look for people that are kind of in and out of conversation. If they look like they're deep in conversation, I just try to avoid them. Mm-hmm. I may walk by and just say hi, that kind of thing. And if they stop what they're doing and then they'll say, hey, are you the magician or whatever? And then yes, then that's fine. But if people are having fun, if I say hey, and they're like, hey, what's going on? And then that's my thing to just kind of go in and, hey, I'm a magician. You guys like to see a little magic? And then, they light up and they're like, really? A lot of times, whenever I start doing stuff, people are like, I have never seen it this close. I've always seen it on America's Got Talent or things like that, or even, television shows. But to see it 2 feet in front of you, it's just shocking to them. It's awesome. It's a great time.
And that is the type of magic that I love. Like, I love all kinds of magic. I love the visual aspect. I love the performance aspect of it. But to watch someone like you just come up with a deck of cards and blow my mind, I am all about it.
and it's awesome. I love doing it, especially for people like you that really, really love it. It's the spectrum. People like you that really, really love it, and people on the other end of like,
skeptical.
I don't know about this guy. And then, so I kind of try to bring everybody together because it's not voodoo. And it's just, let's have fun. And, I break boundaries to try to sit there and say, hey, we're just here having a good time and trying to mess with your head a little bit and make you laugh and make you go, what the heck just happened?
How did you just do that?
Yeah, so.
That's got to be something you hear every time.
Oh, yeah.
How did you do that?
Yeah. You're like, if I told you, I wouldn't be making any money.
Exactly.
Although there is so much more to it.
Oh, my goodness, yes. And that question, and also... if I introduce myself as a magician, I always get can you make my wife disappear or my husband disappear? I'm like, no, I need all the audience I can get.
Right. Pam, are you a fan of magic?
Yeah, I like magic. Yeah.
And some people aren't. Some people are just like, it's not for me. But I always loved all the elements of it, especially the performance. And I shared with you at our Uncle Andy's event that my favorite of all time is Ricky Jay.
Oh, yes.
Who he has a special on YouTube called Ricky Jay and his 52 Assistants.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and if you've never seen that, please do. It's pretty awesome what this guy can do with a deck of cards.
Oh, it's insane. And it's funny because he's funny, but he's very dry at it.
Yep.
And you don't see it coming. You're like, oh, wait, that was a joke. Hold on, and then he's gone to the next one, and then he's doing something with cards and stuff like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
It's just, and I like seeing different magicians do their thing, even if I see the same trick, because everybody's going to spin on it.
Yep. I saw you do a trick that Ricky did on, I think it was like the Dick Cavett show.
Really?
Or something. You did it at the Hilton, and I was just as amazed when you did it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
It was great.
Yeah.
And like you said about Ricky, the performance aspect of it is just as important as the trick itself.
Oh, yeah.
You have to sell the trick.
Yeah.
You have to bring the audience in. You have to get them engaged,
Yep.
which is what you were so good at. And what I'm curious about, you talked about when you first started, you were very shy. How did you overcome that?
Just constantly doing it, because once people heard, oh, you're a magician? Let's see a little something. So right then and there, I'm on the spot. So it's like either I carry a deck of cards with me or like a set of rubber bands, because those are very quick and easy things I can do. A lot of times, everybody's looking either at the cards and my hands and watching that and not staring at me. But as you get along, because I've got a stupid sense of humor, I've got the dad jokes down like there's no tomorrow. And so it's like, once that kicks in, then it's like, okay, let's have a good time. So, yeah, it's still there. As far as the nerves still kick in, like when I did my show yesterday, I walked in, and that's the first thing I do is like, okay, scan the room. But I can feel my face turning red. It's like, okay, palms are getting a little cold. All right, let's just break into something first. And then I just look for the table that, is more inviting, and that way I can get one going. Right. And then once I get the first one, that's it. It just flows after that. So, yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, you got to get that first, like, wow, that was crazy. And then you're like, okay, I got this.
It's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. I'm curious, Mark, in your experience, nearly, 20 years now?
26.
26 years?
26 years, yep.
What would you say is the percentage of the audience that wants to be fooled as opposed to the percentage of the audience that wants to figure out what you're doing?
I would say probably 60-40, 70-30, because you get the people that they don't care how it's done. They don't care even if they see something that they shouldn't have seen, maybe. They love the performance. They love why did this card turn blue? Where did the coin come from, or something like that. But then you have the people that are very analytical, and they have to break it down.
Yeah.
They have to sit there and go, okay, well, can I shuffle the deck of cards? Go right ahead. And they're looking at the cards. And so those people, when I first we were dealing with people like that, it was just like, okay, I can't do this trick, that trick, this trick to these guys. And so keep that in my head for next time. Like I said, it's just over time learning different things and try to get the feel for people, what they like, what they don't like. Quick story, I have a gentleman that used to cut my hair. He just retired, and he knew that I did magic. Absolutely didn't want me to do it. I said, why? He goes, that just freaks me out. I said, well, what freaks you out about it? He says, I don't know. And so I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to break all the rules of magic one afternoon after my haircut. He goes, what are you talking about? I says, I will show you a trick, and I will show you exactly how it's done. Maybe that'll ease your suspicions.
Discomfort.
And he goes, I don't know. So I did it. I broke all the rules. Any magicians listening out there, sorry, it was only one trick. So I showed him the trick. I showed him how it's done, and he's like, wow. And he goes, I'm still freaked out. I'm like, how is it that you're freaked out? You know exactly. And it was like probably a month later, he said, I realized my answer to the question. I said, what was the answer? He said, if you can fool me doing this, what else can you fool me at?
Interesting.
And I said, oh my goodness, you've known me for 25 years. What I like to do whenever I do magic, I tell people, this is the only profession that will lie to you the whole time I'm here. Because that's what I do.
Right.
I'm telling you something, and it's just complete bogus. My eyes are brown for a reason, because the manure piled that high. No, but that's the only reason why I do it. I say that just because they know they're going to get fooled. They know I'm talking a load of garbage, but it's just all part of the shtick of magic, So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes of the new Star Search, and Jelly Roll was one of the judges, and he hated the magicians.
Really?
Because he was so creeped out by magic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that could be. I mean, if they don't know, or if they don't really get into how it's done, or
Right.
the
Or they just have trust issues.
yeah, they could. They never know. I mean,
And I would say it's tougher to be a magician nowadays than it was 30 years ago due to the technology and YouTube and shows like Breaking the Magician's Code.
you're right.
Magic's Biggest Secrets finally
Yeah.
revealed, which I watched because, again, I love magic.
Yeah.
And even though I know how some of the tricks are done, I'm still in it.
Well, and the funny thing with that is, I looked at it too, and a lot of magicians are upset at that. But he just scratches the surface of a few things here and there of how it's done. Like a couple of things that he's done, I have and I still use, but I kind of mix it in. But yeah, YouTube was a definite killer.
Yeah.
Because they're doing stuff and they're exposing it. But again, they've gotten a little deeper on some stuff. But I tend to stay away from that and go into, like, if I want to learn a move or see what it looks like, I'll watch a video and be like, oh, okay, that kind of looks cool. But if I want to learn something, I'll either get a magic book or mostly like DVDs, because I learn better and faster with DVDs or watching some sort of video of a magician showing it. That way it clicks for me because, again, the left-handedness. But the other thing I think is kicking up a notch, believe it or not, is because of the birth of AI, a lot of people don't believe the stuff they see on videos.
Yeah.
Because all of it is just like,
Yeah.
it's just way out there.
Right.
So I'm finding out now more and more that people are like, I can't believe this is happening right here in front of me.
Right.
It's not AI. We can see you. We can touch the cards. We can do you're writing stuff down, and it's not. So I think there's going to be like a resurgence of it more the more the AI comes out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Even knowing how tricks are done, just watching it be done is impressive. I don't think it takes away from that, really. It's
No,
just
and-
like,
and-
wow, you really pulled that off, even though I know there was some type of sleight of hand or whatever.
Yeah. And the other thing is, and I've been watching this gentleman, he's been giving me these great tips, but it's true. It's, if you just do a trick, just the mechanics, you have to sit there and figure it out. But if you tell a story, if you go into something and then you start it, and then you continue with the story, and then you do patter and just work it through, everybody's engaged in the story, whether it's true or not. They're listening. They're trying to figure out if you're so full of it and trying to figure out what you're doing. But it's all wrapped up in telling a story, misdirection, and doing the trick. And that whole thing, that makes the magic. Because if you just do a trick, it's just like, oh, there it is. And you see a lot of that on YouTube. Here's a trick. Here's a card trick. Ta-da. I'm like, oh, really?
Okay, I know the mechanics, but I'm not that impressed.
Right.
You
It's
didn't
like,
sell
okay,
it very
yawn,
well.
next,
Yeah.
Mark, can you tell us a couple of your most memorable interactions with audience members?
Ooh. Maybe.
Yes, I can. I can tell you the worst gig I've had, and I felt so bad. I do Make-A-Wish every year around here. It was with Max Grill for 8-10 years, something like that. And I'm also working with Larry Roy with the new Magic on the Mountain.
Wishes in the Valley.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Magic on the Mountain, Wish in the Valley. Magic on the Mountain. I think that was a movie. Wishes in the Valley. One of the wish receivers, his mom came up to me and said, would you mind coming over to the house and doing some magic for us? And I'm like, well, I said, I'll let you know right now, I'm not a kid's magician, because there was a lot of kids. It's just not my shtick. I like middle school and older, they get the card tricks, they get the mind reading stuff. I have a few things because I do a lot of restaurant work, so I have a couple of things for the kiddos, but nothing major. And I told her that, and she's like, wow, she goes, there's going to be a lot of adults there. There's going to be a bunch of kids, but they'll be in and out. They'll be playing around and stuff like that. So it's mostly for the adults. And I'm like, okay. So I get there, and it's a hot August afternoon, and I grabbed a blazer because always, got to have the pockets and stuff. And I grabbed the wrong one. I had a wool blazer.
Oh, no.
I didn't realize it until I threw it, because I just threw it in the back of my car. And I went to throw it on, and I'm like, oh, this feels heavy. I'm like, oh, no. I said, well, at least we're outside. As soon as I got there, the storm clouds started rolling in, and we had a thunderstorm. Everybody moved into the living room. There was like 40 people in there.
Oh.
Congratulations. Hey, give it a round of applause for Mark. He's going to do some magic. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not prepared for this. And then there's 30 kids sitting there looking at me, and I'm like, oh, no. Then the nerves started kicking in.
Yeah.
I could feel myself sweating. There was a bead of sweat just rolling from my forehead off the end of my nose the whole time, and I'm doing stuff, and I'm like, this is going very badly. So about halfway through, I started seeing stars, and I'm like, okay, I need to take a break. I stepped in the kitchen, and I'm getting woozy. I'm like, I'm done. So the woman was like, are you sure? I said, I can't. I'm really not feeling well. So I went to the doctors afterwards, and I'm like, I got to figure out what's going on. They said, everything you said, you have heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
And the woman came back, and she gave me a scathing review. And I said, I'll tell you what. Easy on the review, because I'm just starting out with this stuff.
Yeah.
So, easy on the review if I, refund your money. I'm sorry I didn't go through with the whole thing, so here's your money back. And she says, okay. She gave me like a 1 star, but didn't, she had like a 3-foot long, he was this and he was that. And I'm like, but things changed, and it's like, I had to go with the flow, but stuff was just not going my way that day.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. That was my worst.
It's a rough one.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Well, I think we all have those.
Yes, we do. But the best one I had was not that long ago. It was my first bachelorette party, and I was recovering from surgery, so I had a boot on my foot. And I told them that. I said, I still can walk around and do my stuff, but I said, I've got a boot, and they're like, yeah, no problem. So about a week before the gig, we kind of settled everything, and the person running the show, she said, by the way, the bride-to-be hates having a stripper. Can you do me a favor? I said, what? She says, we'll have lights going, and we'll have a big beat kind of sound, and then we'll have you blast in like you're a stripper. And I'm like, I'm 6'2", 275 with a big old beer gut. Are you kidding me? They don't want to see this. And she's like, it's perfect. She'll sit there and look at you and go, what are you doing? I can't believe you guys. So that's exactly what happened. I texted her. I was at the door. And so next thing I know, there was lights on. There was a window above the door so I can kind of see in. And all of a sudden the lights come on. It's like all these dance lights. And I hear the sound, boo, boo, boo. I'm like, oh, no. And she's like, hey, come on down. We got a surprise for you. So I fling the door open, and I start dancing around. And the girl's like, I can't believe you guys got me a stripper. I told you not to get me a stripper. She's looking at me. She goes, I'm so sorry, but do you think you can leave? And I'm like, no, because I'm the magician. I'm not the stripper. And she's like, oh, thank goodness. Oh. She freaked out. And then the rest of the night was an absolute blast, because then she's like, I'm just so glad you're not a stripper. Like, trust me, you don't want to see
yeah,
this.
me too.
Thanks. Yes, it was like, I'm not. Trust me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Awesome. Where do you perform, Mark?
Basically, I just perform. I usually try to hit up a lot of restaurants. I go on these sites online. One of them is it's called Gig Salad, and they have different performers, musicians, magicians, jugglers, things like that. And I put my name in there, and then what happens is people will look on those sites once they have an idea. They're like, I don't know where to go. So a lot of times they'll hit that site, and then they'll say, okay, magician. And then they'll look through me and a bunch of others, and then they'll choose, and then they'll get their information to me, and then I'll send them a quote. And, whether they like it or not, they will go back and forth, and then they'll hire me. A lot of times it's private gigs, but or festivals, things like that. Did a couple of wedding receptions and stuff like that. And this last one was a birthday party, but it was still a blast. Everybody loved it. And so, yeah, what I'd like to do is just have a gig or something like that every other weekend or every weekend, just to have a good time with it.
Yeah. Do you go out of state, or are you mostly in Maine?
Yeah, I've done stuff in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, New England states mostly. actually got on a site by accident, and I was like, oh no, I don't know if I want to do this. It's like this massive talent agency, and every once in a while I'll get an email, hey, so-and-so is looking for a magician in Honolulu, Hawaii. And I'm like, no. Unless I charge them like $2,000 or $3,000 just to get my butt out there. And,
Worth a shot, right?
Yeah, exactly. Why
Pay
not?
for all my travel.
Yeah,
and
exactly. My expenses, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then this is how much it is for the gig.
Exactly.
And then we'll talk.
That's right.
Free trip to Hawaii.
That's it.
You are also a mentalist,
Yes.
which I learned recently. How does all that work? How did you get into that?
Well, back in 2020 when the whole COVID thing hit, obviously I couldn't do close-up. So we have a group of friends that get together like once a month. We're like the underground magicians, you know. We just basically bounce ideas around. And one of the guys said, well, what are we going to do? And he said, looked at me, he says, do you ever think of mentalism? I'm like, what the heck is that? And he said, here, let me give you some ideas, some videos to check out. And I said, you've got to be kidding me. It's different gear from magic because it's not sleight of hand. It's, somebody put it like this. It's like a magician meeting a detective. You basically read the person, body language, what you ask the questions, what they answer, how they answer it, what you're doing to get what you need, like reading minds and stuff like that. You kind of pitch and throw things and see what sticks. And I thought, this is going to be bogus. So I tried one for the first time, and I'm like, oh, maybe there's something to this. It's funny because I do mentalism with my magic stuff, and I have to tell people, this isn't a trick. And they're like, what are you talking about? Because I'm asking you a question, and I want your honest answer, or give me, a choice of whatever. And then I'll reveal something, and they look at me like, how the heck did you know that? And it's just, and it's fairly new. Like I said, it's about 5 or 6 years old, so I'm getting into it. And here's the other thing. Most of the stuff I do is on stage. So, again, shy guy going on stage. But I found out that a lot of the stuff I do, I need a lot of audience and participation. So when they're up, everybody's looking at them. And really not me. But I'm at the point now where it's like, I don't care. Let's have a good time. If things go great, it's fantastic. People are like scratching their heads going, what the heck just happened? How did he know this? And where did this, So more and more I do it, the more fun it is and the more options I can offer people too. And that's basically what's been going on lately. It's bachelorette parties and bachelor parties have been like coming in hot and heavy, and I pitch them. I'll start off with some close up, and then I'll end up with close up, but I'll do a nice mind reading thing in the middle, and they're like, "You're kidding? That's awesome."
That is cool.
And so when I do that, they're like, "That is the best thing I've ever seen," and it's like, "Wow, cool." Wow. So
Mark, you're putting strippers out of business.
Can I put that as a tagline?
Yes.
Mark's Magic, putting strippers out of business since 2000. Oh, that's great.
So not only are you a magician and a mentalist, you're also an entrepreneur. Can you talk a little bit about the business side of magic and how much fun that is?
Yeah, well, it's kind of funky because I didn't really know. It was basically throwing myself into the fire because I want to do magic. But in order for me to do the magic, I have to get stuff. And if I get stuff, I have to pay for it. So, okay, you have to pay me to do my stuff. And there's a lot of disconnect with some people because that's one of the things that I always talk to my friends about. We get together and it's always about, like the latest move or try this trick and this and that. For me, it's like, okay, what's the cost range for something that because I don't want to like overcharge something and also undercharge because I'm also, if I undercharge, then all the other magicians around here be like, well, I had this guy, he only charged me $150. And it's like, ooh. But a lot of people don't understand that if I quote somebody a decent amount, they're like, how come so much? You're just a magician. I have to travel there. I have to get ready. I have to practice all my stuff. All the stuff that I bought is, for entertainment purposes. So all this stuff I'm trying to recoup back as we go along. this was years ago, probably like 10 years ago. There was a magician from Las Vegas that came up here, and he did a 3-day seminar, and most of the seminar was the business aspect of it, what you're going to look for, how to set up like an LLC if you wanted to set up that, or if you need insurance for things, if you're doing walk around, you don't want to fall and stuff like that. So all of that stuff is kind of built into the price too. And once you explain that to people, then they're like, oh, that kind of makes sense. And it's the same thing as if you're going to a baseball game, why are you spending, $300 for a seat? Because these guys play, these guys train, and they're the best at what they do. I'm not saying that I'm up there with the Major League Baseball players, but I train, I do my stuff, and I get into it, and, I try to do the best I can with what I have, and it's constant. I'm constantly, my wife makes fun every time somebody asks questions about, does he have a deck of cards all over the place? She says, yes, he has a deck of cards in every room, even in bathrooms. I'm like, that's the best place to practice.
I love how they say you're just a magician.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only have a skill that very few people
It's true.
dream of.
Yeah, and it's funny. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I could do this and get paid having fun. So a lot of times when I go to work, I'll put in for time off, and they're like, another gig? I said, yeah, another gig. And they're like, why do you do so many gigs? And it's because it's fun. Not that work is not fun, because it's super easy driving a bus, and I have a good time doing that. But I mean, this is much more fun, and I get paid a decent amount, and I only have to work an hour. Right. So,
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. We could talk to you all day, Mark. But unfortunately, we are approaching the finish line of the show. And before we get to our final segment, is there anything else about yourself or your business that you would like our listeners to know before we move on?
No, just give me a call. I mean, I'm on Facebook, Mark's Magic. I've got marksmagic.org for any questions or comments you have. I'd be glad to answer them, and love to do some performing out here. So.
Awesome. We're going to try to talk Mark into performing for us. After the show, we're going to take some video and post it on our Facebook page as well, because I know we have a couple people out here that did see you at the Hilton. And Rick was one of them. Rick from Evergreen Custom Printing. He saw Mark and he immediately started backing up. He's like, are you going to make me disappear? What's going on with this guy?
Vinny's expecting me home later.
Yes.
Can't disappear.
Just to warn you, this when I do this video later on, it'll be 3 easy payments of $29.95. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union is proud to call Lewiston Auburn home. Whether you're buying a house, saving for the future, or growing your business, we're here for you, right where you live. Visit dirigofcu.com and feel the difference of a credit union that truly knows LA.
All right, Mark, we like to close out the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions, where Pam and I will ask you questions that have nothing to do with your profession.
Great. Now
All right. So I will start, Mark, outside of magic and mentalism, what could you teach someone to do today with 100% certainty?
Believe it or not, this is the first thing that came to my head. Be kind.
That's a skill.
It's just, the way things are going lately, there's a lot of anger and angst and stuff like that. Just chill. Just, move on. Life is too short.
Yeah.
So.
I like it.
Great answer.
A good one. All right, Mark. Again, outside magic and mentalism. What superpower would you like to have?
Ooh. Actually, my wife and I talked about that not that long ago because we were watching The Incredibles. Love that. I'd love to fly.
Yeah.
That would be the killer. Either that or like an invisibility cloak or something like that. But one of those two, that would be the best.
I agree. Those are top on my list as well. Yeah.
All right, Mark, final question for you. If you could attend any live performance, concert, or sporting event in history and have the best seats in the house, where would you go and why?
Oh, my. I would probably... I'm a big 80s hair metal guy. My favorite band is Def Leppard, and I've seen them a bunch of times around here. But I would love to have seen them in their heyday, like just taking off. And even in England, somewhere, wherever they're from, when they're kicking it off in a huge stadium, I think Wembley Stadium, and, thousands and thousands of fans, I'd just be like to sit there and go, that's awesome. Yeah. Because back in the day, that's when the drummer had both arms, and, the guitarist was alive, and just his sound is completely fantastic. And that's what would just be the best.
Love it. I'm an 80s hair metal
Yeah, I
guy
was gonna
myself.
say.
Yes.
Yep.
Mark enjoys that.
I think that was it Steve Clark that died?
Yes.
Guitarist?
Yep.
Yeah.
He was, a little side caveat, I just saw a video the other day. He was so nervous and so shy that he would try to get out of every stage show.
Wow.
Yeah, there was one time Joe Elliott was walking into the dressing room to see if he was ready, and he heard Steve Clark in the bathroom. What the heck is going on? He actually was putting his fist through the sink to break the sink so he wouldn't have to smash his knuckles, so he wouldn't have to play.
Oh, my goodness.
They said, wrap it up, you're going up on stage.
Yeah.
And he just went and jammed away. I'm like, wow. So if I think I have it bad, no.
Mark, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us.
It was super fun for me. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
We
thanks
do
for coming.
appreciate you. He is
All right.
Mark Vaillancourt. Look him up online at marksmagic.org, and you can also find him on Facebook. Thanks to Ruper's Beverage and Redemption for sponsoring today's episode. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam Ashby via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.
Have a great day, and remember, don't bite your cat.